This is what we doing while we do it, baby. We rollin'!
Covering MMA from all over the world, this is the premier stop for all your combat sports needs. MMAjunkie Radio, the only show broadcasting live from the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. The lights are on and the mics are hot. It's time to get your MMA fix, junkies. Take it away, Big John.
Gorgeous George and Goes, are you ready? Junkie Nation, are you ready? Let's get it on!
From the fight capital of the world, inside the beautiful Mandalay Bay Racing Sportsbook, you're listening to the MMAjunkie Radio Show, the only show that matters. I'm your host, Gorgeous George. With me, as always, is the devious and dastardly Goes, our co-host. To my left, it's the fight analyst, Dan Tom. Producing the show today, Gabby. What's up?
Doesn't it have a nickname? Gabby. Not Too Shabby Gabby, something like that.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah.
I like
that way
the
we
good
don't
one,
give her
Goes.
too big of an ego, or...
Yeah, she can't just come in and be Gabby. She's got to be something.
Do you have a nickname, Gabby?
No, nothing good.
That means yes. Come on, what is it? A little hesitation.
I really
sold you.
don't. I really don't have a good one yet. You guys should come up with a good one for
Not
me, I
too
think.
shabby, Gabby. You know, there's...
Gabulous, a little bit.
Hey,
Gabulous Gabby?
that's a good one. Gabulous.
Yeah.
Charmaine Tweet, isn't hers not so sweet? Charmaine Tweet or something like that?
Is it?
Yeah, so I guess, hey, I can be sour. I don't know what she's trying to say. But, all right, whatever. Super Bowl Sunday, we touched on it yesterday. And now that we've had a chance to see everything, you know, like teams arriving to their fans and parades. I think the parade was today, right?
Yeah.
Any thoughts on the season, and what do you look forward to for yours and Dan's Redskins next season?
Redskins, baby. You know, at the beginning of the season, well, we'll say like halfway through the season, I honestly felt like it was a year where it just wasn't going to be the Patriots. Even if they turned things around a little bit, I just didn't think they had the horses.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I was kind of giving Belichick a lot of credit for the Super Bowl.
Me too.
I mean, think about it. If you and here's the other thing too. I'm going to be all over the place, but how bad do Saints fans feel? Because you got to think with that offense, they're probably thinking we could have scored at least 20 points.
All you needed was 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
If you could hold them to 13 like the Rams defense held them.
Exactly.
So
I think it really came down to a lot of coaching, but man, there's nothing you could say about those guys. I mean, they do it year after year. It's pretty impressive.
Doesn't it make you feel that if you get the right general, you know, and the right culture, you know, the right players, like maybe you guys can win a title? Because okay, maybe you don't have Tom Brady, but he's not the only one that won the Super Bowl. I mean, the defense played really, really good.
Well, culture's a big word.
Huh?
Culture's a big word.
Right.
That's a big part of it.
So I think every team feels like, you know, we can do this. We can do this one way or another. Because Tom Brady, I mean, look, he's got great players, obviously, but not like all pros in all kinds of positions, save for Gronk. And Gronk's, even though he's 29 or something like that, he's kind of on the downside just because of so many injuries or whatever. But he doesn't have like an all-pro wide receiver. He has Julian Edelman who gets the job done and a few of the other guys. But I don't know. I think there's hope for everyone else. We need to get our quarterback healthy. And,
us too.
And
Ours
then from
be
there,
a lot longer than yours.
Draft and, you know, draft players. And I think I like the coach that we have because he's an offensive innovator. Mm-hmm. And I like the quarterback that we have. We just need him to come back from a severe injury and whatever. But how about this? I'm looking up and the Lakers are getting their ass kicked by 20. It's just halftime. That's all.
Wait a minute. It was like 2020, not too long
No,
ago.
it's like 69-46.
Oh, wow.
What the hell? 23 points and a half with LeBron. Anyway, Patriots, great job again. Said it yesterday. And now we just got to sit around. I think there's signing day coming up.
Letter of intent?
Letter of intent day for colleges. Then sometime in the spring, high schools, colleges, and pros will release their schedules. I know the NFL is usually the third Thursday of April. We have the NFL draft. That's pretty fun. And letter of intent day is the equivalent, I guess, of a draft for college players. And then we got to ride out that summer, man. We got those NBA playoffs. We got, you know, everything that winds down the soccer seasons. But then we have that so painful run where it's just baseball in like mid-June to like mid-August. Oh, gosh. Luckily, it's pool season here in Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
I was just going to say my only contribution was just not surprised that you guys were classy, but classy takes, I must say. That from what I read to what I hear on podcasts, usually a lot of upset. I hate the Patriots. A lot of not just a lot of. Do the Patriots really need these calls to go their way? Did they really need? You hear a lot of that, but I'm glad you guys.
Well, my dad used to say something saying like good teams do make their own fortunes, their own luck, and being in the right spot at the right time, or who knows what. But you're right, there always does seem to be something. Like that call with Kansas City when the guy was offside, it's usually a call where you're warned about. You don't really get the 5, but that was a difference maker. That really could have been KC the same way New Orleans could have possibly, if that had been, let's just say that had been a penalty. It was 1st and goal, and let's say they get stopped 4 times in a row by the Rams. I mean, we don't know that they just automatically make the field goal, but we're assuming all these things. But you know what? Guess what? All that didn't happen. And when they got to the next game, the Patriots rose to the occasion, and the Rams didn't. So that's that. Boston is on an incredible roll of banking championships. I try and be a troll. I love to poke and prod and joke around or whatever. And as much as I tried on Sunday, there was one particular tweet that came in from someone that I really like and respect, not just what he does in our sport, but because he's an upstanding guy. He's an upstanding sports guy. When Brady first threw the first interception, I quickly tweeted Montana didn't throw any interceptions. He was perfect in Super Bowl. Never lost, never threw an interception. Just to see, if anybody wants to give me some shit or whatever.
Real creepy stare on Montana's face in that picture, by the way, but go on.
With the 4 rings, yeah. But at the end of the game, because the game sucked, there wasn't much to tweet about other than this game's boring, I guess. But at the very end, John Anik wrote, the Red Sox won it in October, and the Patriots just won it. So what is that like? I think he wrote 2 titles in 90 days. Get some. And I was like, fuck, like, what can you say to that? I mean, that's 2 big championships. And he's right, all within 90 days. So, yeah, I mean, if I had a hat on, I just would have taken it off and just exited the room. Hey, let me know if you need me.
He's not one of them, but the Patriots themselves, they're not annoying. Their fans are annoying. John isn't one of them.
Yeah, you're right. They're
not too bad, though,
They're Patriots. A lot of geeky annoying. Because when you sit down and have conversations with them and go, and ask him something like, well, what's been your favorite part of this run? Brady. Well, aside from that, Belichick. Well, aside from that, crickets. That's it. Like, they don't really follow. It's like, oh, yeah, I forgot I'm from Boston. Now's my time to smile and post something on Facebook. They're not really there banging every week, like cheering their team or downing their sorrows or whatever. And and if you are one of those, then, hey, salute. But I see a lot of people just kind of riding that, catching that express on the last stop.
Oh, so we don't like them for different reasons. I don't like them the same way Kobe Bryant, Jordan, some of the top players, LeBron, when they don't get a call, they kind of freak out. That's the way Patriot fans are out here at the sports book. When they don't get a call, that any other game you go, just let them play. It's close.
That
They're like, oh my God, I can't believe we didn't get that call.
That group in front of us, they started blushing because they knew they were embarrassed that there were so many going their way against KC. Like everybody in the sportsbook was like, again? Like, come on already. Like, this isn't even fair. and they were high-fiving, but kind of like, yeah, we get it. I mean, this is a little one-sided here with some of the breaks they were catching. I mean, come on. That punt off Edelman. Come on. Yeah. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah.
But it happens in every sport, I guess. You know who's not that annoying either is Alabama fans. They're not that bad. I mean, it's hard to talk shit against them.
Well, I don't even know any other than Eric Anders and
a lot of the people that we went to Afghanistan with. That whole unit was all Alabama people.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like, they don't really talk that much shit, and it's hard to say anything bad about them.
They may have had a better run than the Patriots because they did it in a shorter amount of time.
It's funny, the only time first of all, I have a theory that, I feel like the bandwagoner fans were more annoying here in Vegas than maybe per se at California, because you could make the argument, well, you at least have to have kind of quote-unquote the balls to, stick with your team. You're originally from back east, and you like L.A., you're living there now, but when it comes to sports, you will still, support your flag, even if it means you're going to get heckled. Whereas out here, I think it's a lot easier to bandwagon, so therefore we see a lot more of it. So, for example, when you guys were still in California, probably like 2003 to 2006, everybody out here in Vegas was a Yankees fan. For whatever reason, everybody had a Yankees cap on.
Really?
So I found myself, being the contrarian I am, loving being the biggest Boston Red Sox fan when they were upsetting people, being like the only guy at Buffalo Wild Wings cheering, just because I was so sick and tired of all the jump aboard bros. And because when I was in the situation, and of course you guys can speak being Lakers fans, but when I was in situations as a Bulls fan, and this is also how I'm wired, I don't suggest this is right or normal by any means. I would always be quick, like before people go, oh, Bulls fan, I'm not a fan of Jordan, I like Pippen. And I'd have to like kind of come clean and like lay some facts down, let him know like, okay, this guy's been watching, he knows his stuff. Because even as a Bulls fan, I'm such a contrarian, I couldn't really enjoy Jordan, right? So yeah, I don't know.
I mean, they were our rivals, but it's hard to talk shit on them either. The Bulls.
Well, when they were on the run, nobody could.
But they weren't really annoying.
No, I think you're right. But I worked
could
at
see how the
State
Lakers were
Farm
annoying.
Insurance, and their headquarters is Bloomington, Illinois. So there was some corporate people that were rocking the Bulls. That it kind of sucked in those years a little bit. Just the first couple when they were starting the three-peat.
Back to Super Bowl.
All
What
right.
do you think of the halftime show? Because you have like your haters that are haters of the sport, the way the game was being played. And then you have people that go, I hate the halftime show.
Was it that awful band Maroon 5, which I don't know why are they still around? Why did they play? I didn't get that.
It's Maroon 5.
Oh God.
I watched it. I didn't think it was as bad as everybody was saying,
Me neither.
but it was definitely one of the lower halftime shows compared
Right.
to what
But
other
going
people
into
have
it,
done.
wasn't there controversy?
Yeah.
Like, did somebody say something politically incorrect?
It was
or
something like that.
Oh, is that what it was?
had to do kind of like what was going on with the Oscars, right, or something like that.
I don't know, but yeah, I think going into it, people didn't like them. So right away, I think they were up against the
But
tide
I've seen
here.
Maroon 5 here at Mandalay Bay.
So have
on
I,
New Year's
and I
Eve.
enjoyed it.
I enjoyed that more than what they did. At the
I remember
Super Bowl.
going in there going, oh man, come on, and I sat down. Next thing you know, they're belting out songs, and I was into it. So when I heard they were going to do the show, I was like, all right, I guess it's their turn. They've been through so many bands. Is there someone that is due?
Do?
Yeah, like is there somebody like, come on, you're going to overlook these guys or gals again, or they've had 53 Super Bowls, and so I imagine a lot of the good ones have gotten.
What about that handsome Bruno Mars kid? Didn't he? Isn't he a
think
crowd
he's-
pleaser?
he's done one.
He already did
There's
one, right?
probably a list.
Hey,
Probably a list.
Gabby,
Excellent.
I hate to say it like this, but hey, Gabby,
Yes.
you're a girl. Did you
Shabai's
like
better
Maroon
opinion
5?
on this.
I like Maroon 5. I didn't like the halftime show at all.
What happened?
The
What
show
didn't you
itself,
like?
Maroon 5. Like, what
I
didn't
just
you
think
like?
I think they were a little too cheesy to be the halftime show. I like when the halftime show has more than like one collaboration, like you get surprises and stuff. I was very confused why Travis Scott was there with Maroon 5 and Big Boy came out doing like that Outkast song. It was very not put together.
I think one of them was
Don't you think?
representing the ATL. That's why it happened.
Yeah, but like, okay, so that's exciting. And then he did like one of their lamest songs. He didn't do any of their like ATL kind of songs. You know what I
Gotcha,
mean? And
yeah.
Travis Scott, that song that he does with Drake, it's called Sicko Mode. It's a good song, but he's like a rapper that talks out his raps. So when he was on stage, he was like screaming. Don't you think he just was like yelling the words? Did you not think that was bad?
Yeah, that part I was just like, I didn't even know who the hell he was, so I was just like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
But
And I think Adam Levine was just waiting to take his shirt off, to be honest.
was
I
a
heard that
prop
comment
bet.
too. I heard that comment
It was
too.
a
Gabby.
prop bet.
It was weird.
It was
It
a
was
prop bet.
weird.
Will he take
Weird.
off his shirt?
He's got to show these edgy, right?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I'm edgy. Look at me.
It's like
But-
more nipple action at the Super Bowl is not what we need.
And by the way, they actually could be a decent band, guys. I only know like the one or two songs where I label Maroon 5 in that like category of I'm shopping and the song is being blasted in my ear to where I hate it. Like that one song, like I'm not a perfect person. Like I just like that kind of crap. You're like, oh God, what?
But that's a different. That's Hoobastank, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
Maroon
it's all
5.
that. Like I put it all in that same category.
Oh, Maroon
That
5.
it's just ear. Yeah, I was gonna use a bad word, but yeah, it's invading your ears.
Here's
We'll
the
just say
list
that.
of previous Super Bowl halftime performers, right?
Okay.
Justin Timberlake. So I think we can all go, okay, that's a kind of a megastar, right?
Yeah.
Lady Gaga, the year before.
All right.
All right, yeah. But check out 2016. Coldplay, Beyonce, and Bruno Mars. Can't they all hold up on their own?
Probably. Well, yeah, I guess.
Or did it belong to Coldplay and they brought their friends?
I heard Coldplay puts on a
Coldplay
good
and
live show, right?
friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, they play T-Mobile a lot.
Katy Perry, Lenny Kravitz, Missy Elliott. I remember the two sharks. I love the two sharks.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be one of those sharks. the following Halloween.
Oh, okay.
Bruno Mars and Red Hot Chili Peppers. So
All right.
so it looks like Bruno was it, and he brought a band like these are my friends. Beyonce in
My
2013. Wow, okay, so she's pretty popular. Madonna, the Black Eyed Peas, Usher, and Slash. The Who. I like The Who. I remember that one. Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Prince. I remember that. Prince was 2007?
Yeah.
Boy, time
I
flies.
think it rained too, right? It rained during like Purple
Rolling
Rain.
Stones, Paul McCartney, Janet Jackson, Kid Rock, Nelly and Justin Timberlake, Shania Twain, No Doubt, Sting, U2, Kings of Rock, Aerosmith. So now that I'm saying this, who's kind of missing? Who could fill in like in 2020?
That
It
old
seems
girl,
like there's
she
not really
ain't
like a
what
lot
she used to
of
be.
metal bands, right?
Van Halen?
It's gotta be like the
just-
crowd pleasing. It's gotta be like James Hetfield or like
You're right, but I just don't know that a lot of people would know at this point who they are anymore.
Really? Well, come
Yeah.
on, the Rolling Stones? They're probably older than Van Halen. I don't know, Metallica or
That's what I'm saying. I think like they're
Guns
missing
N'
someone
Roses.
like that. Somebody that is poppy enough that can bridge the gap, like a Guns N' Roses, where even kids would kind of go, "Okay, I've heard that Welcome to the Jungle thing."
Okay.
Heard the Hart Sisters. They still put on a good show, but I don't think they're
I
still
saw them.
too old. Yeah,
The
I saw-
Hart Sisters, you want them to headline?
I'm a fan of
I-
Hart, but
I-
I'm not a football fan
The
though,
Hart
so I don't
Sisters
think we're
could
talking
be
the damn
a side,
demographic.
like
Side piece?
the Robin to whoever's Batman.
Like the
I don't know,
sidecar?
they're I think they're like a step down from Maroon 5.
Oh,
Back in the day, I'm feeling you.
I
but
saw them play. They were awesome.
I get that, but-
I know, I heard you
But
say
when you announce,
Crazy on
guess,
you? Come
you
on
know,
now,
for
son.
Super Bowl 54, our halftime show will be. You're gonna get dun, 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 when you make that.
Like a lot of
announcement.
people think maybe it's gonna be like Bret the Hitman Hart Sisters or something.
Oh, dude, if you let the Super Bowl show up to me, I'd be like trolling people. I'd have that old man with his the old man from The Simpsons. That old girl, she ain't what she used to be. Ain't what she used to
You
be.
would never work another day in your life, Dan.
Just watch the
Diana
crowd.
Ross, Phil Collins, Christina Aguilera, Stevie Wonder, Gloria Estefan, Boyz II Men. So a lot of really big name bands have done
Oh,
this.
Boys
but
to Men.
I feel
There
like
you go.
somebody call in and say, you three fools are missing, 4 fools if you want to throw in Gabby, are missing this particular band and make us all go, oh yeah, good one. 877. Fuck, I haven't said the number in so long, I forgot. 877. Fight 93. There you go. It's the other one that always trips me up. I got to get my notes straight.
Do you think
877 Fight 93. Let us know if there's a band out there that we're missing that you think would be. And now people, it's got to be iconic, all right? It's got to be an iconic band that fits in with the Super Bowl. Think about the fact that Maroon 5 is getting some slack. So you got to build from there. You know what I mean? It can't be your favorite band. It's got to be a band. And then give us a side piece band as well.
and nothing that starts with Lil? You say anything that starts with Lil, I'm gonna hang up.
Well, like,
What-
couldn't J-Lo maybe do one?
Yeah, J-Lo.
I'm not
could pull
saying
it
she's
off,
the best musical performer, but she's a big name.
but J-Lo probably
and then
needs friends.
she definitely needs friends. She can't hold it all together, but J-Lo and friends, that's kind of what I'm
Has
thinking.
Gwen Stefani done it yet, or No Doubt?
Well, she did it with No Doubt, but she could hold up, but I think she also needs a friend.
She needs
See,
a
like,
pal.
The
Hey, what
Rolling
about-
Stones can show up and go, we didn't bring anyone. Suck it. You know what I mean? I think we'd all go, yeah, just play your jams.
Hey,
The Who can do that, or U2 can do that, but certain bands or certain performers need and friends.
What about that creepy guy with the T-Rex arms and the smile? CeeLo, is his run still going on, or
Nah, he's gone.
Who the hell's that?
he's that creepy dude? He's always like,
if you heard a song, you would recognize
CeeLo?
it. Does our sport need something like this
Girl, I
at all
know.
for their big shows?
like
Like a-
what WrestleMania
Just
does?
national anthems, yeah, what WrestleMania does, just that everything that comes along with
if
it.
you'll recall, when Connor fought Chad Mendez, their walkouts
That was cool.
were, who do we have? Sinead O'Connor, right?
Sinead O'Connor.
Sinead O'Connor.
And the other guy, what do we call him? The other guy?
Yeah,
Chad
country
Mendez's guy? His
he
name
seems
was
like a guy that'll
Alan.
play the Super Bowl.
His name was Alan
America.
something, or what? He was playing at Pachanga once or something, but
Yeah.
we could do something like that. I thought they made it pretty special,
Pachanga's like-
but it kind of almost. It wasn't Pachanga too. It was another one. Sorry, Pachanga. It really
Don't forget
wasn't
about
you.
us out
I
here.
like you guys. You're the best casino in California, but it was another spot.
Mhm.
It was in San Bernardino. What's that one called?
Palo? No, the one with the good buffet?
I can't remember. No, not that one.
Not
On-
Morongo?
on the way to Vegas. It's technically where JD from the IE lives, in that area. I've been to fights there. King of the Cage used to have fights.
Not Saboba.
Saboba, that's the one.
Saboba?
That had it. Yeah.
Sounds like a
His
character
name
from
was
Star
Alan
Wars.
something, and I think you pointed. You go, hey, that's Chad's guy or whatever, and you know.
Before we move on from this, we do have a caller responding to your call, George.
All right. Let's see. Who's this caller?
Ira
Where are you
in
from?
Philly.
Ira in Philly?
Yep.
All right, Ira. Who you got?
Hey, I don't think I heard you guys say.
I don't think I heard you say anything either.
Oh, man.
Is he gone?
They got him.
She dropped. She fell.
Oh, she.
I need to know what it was.
Her suggestion was Bon Jovi. She told me.
Bon Jovi is right on that cusp
You're
where
right.
he could either pull it off by himself or maybe bring a pal.
Right. Because Bon Jovi 20 years ago, we have no problems, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No problems.
But the drop-off has happened. So, yeah, Bon Jovi
Oh,
would
yeah.
need to have.
All those drum beats. I mean, you could just picture the guy just slamming the tom.
For sure.
Yeah,
Bon Jovi.
that's
He still plays like
and
T-Mobile, the
friends.
big arenas. He's not like one of those guys that's moved down to the Hard Rock or something. He still sells out big arenas.
Yeah.
But you know what you could do? Do you remember when Elton John played and then he brought out Axl Rose to just play November? They played November Rain
Yeah.
together. He could do something like that where he just brings one more person for maybe one of the songs or something. But I think he's on that cusp.
Okay.
So I'm not going to say
And
Bon Jovi and
this
Friends.
is the one
I'll say
time
Bon
where
Jovi and Pal.
This is the one time where it doesn't have to make sense. So let's say I'm a concert promoter and I go, guess what? Van Halen and Snoop. People would be like, come on, those two don't, the two different crowds. But this is Super Bowl, so you can do that. They do that, you know what I mean? Where they bring in different genres and they make it work. So you can. Your and friend can be of another genre. Don't think that it has to sync up,
I like that, though. Ira had a good one. Bon Jovi, I didn't think
Bon
about that
Jovi
one.
was a good one. Anybody else? 877-FIGHT-93. Let's talk about Conor McGregor, by the way. He was at the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And he's pretty smart. Like, I'm thinking, why are you there? You don't really even get the game. But you were there, and you had the matching jacket with your son. I thought the Cowboys was maybe the squad he was cozying up to because he made an appearance there. But in this instance, it had to do more with the Patriots, it looked like. I saw Robert Kraft in that area. And
Oh, the weather's fair out here.
it could be that that Dana facilitated that or whatever. But I think pretty smart on Conor to pick his spots about when he's going to make these types of appearances because, remember, coming off a loss, Conor is different than coming off a win, Conor. But yet he transcends that and makes it work.
Well, his manager, Adi Attar, also manages some football players,
Yes,
right? So
yeah,
maybe
you're
there's
right.
he kind of gets that side of it as well.
You're right.
There's two calls here. We got Jay from Orange County and John from Wisconsin. You pick who you want first.
OC, baby. Jay, what's up?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good.
Love the show. First time caller.
Thank you,
Thank
brother.
So I think the casino you guys were thinking about is San Manuel. I've seen King
San
of Kings there.
Manuel. Yeah, it is San
Okay.
Manuel. Sorry, Saboba. It was San Manuel.
Did you-
What's the name of that
Depending
dude? What's the guy that came out with Chad Mendes, country artist? I think his first name is Alan. Do you know? Oh, Aaron. Aaron something.
Boji.
Well,
Yeah, I don't know-
Jay,
I don't
Jay
know
wouldn't
that.
know.
We'll
He's
look
from
it
the OC. He's not from the IE. But anyway, do you have a band?
Yeah, I think, I hate to say it, but they're kind of making a comeback. But Backstreet Boys, and they also they have a song with a huge country band called Florida Georgia Line, so they can kind of be together, kind of do that thing.
Okay,
Could they
if
do
they
it, guys?
do that, if the Backstreet Boys do it, they're gonna need and friends.
Yeah.
So what they could do is maybe
Well, that's
one
what I was
if they
saying.
bring in like but if they just did the theme of boy bands,
Yeah.
they'd have to do it with like NSYNC or something or
Are you
somebody.
sure? Aren't they rivals? Or did they finally
I
squash
don't
it years later?
How deep can that rivalry
That's
be
true.
between
That's
those?
true. It's not like they're
those-
hooligans. All
Yeah.
right.
Like,
Well, I got to be honest with you, Jay. Backstreet Boys is a little bit less than what I was thinking, so I thought you were going to come stronger with the and friends. But hey, Maroon 5 did it, so.
Hey, first time caller. I got some work to do. I need some practice.
All right,
No,
my
that's
man.
not bad. That's
Thanks,
not bad.
Thanks for calling
Thanks
in.
for calling, Jay.
All right, who's the next one goes?
let's go to John from Wisconsin.
John from Wisconsin. All right, what you got, John?
I think the guy that sang for Chad Mendes was the lead singer of Stained, Aaron Lewis. I'm not sure about
I
that.
think
There we
that's
go.
what it was.
That is it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for that save, John.
And then for Super Bowl, I would think it would be Mariah Carey and Garth Brooks.
Okay, that would work.
Yeah, that's two big names.
Unless
there.
Mariah Carey has a meltdown, then you'll actually get Dan Tom to sit down and watch a Super Bowl show with my popcorn ready.
Mariah Carey. Okay. Yeah, because why is Beyonce getting multiple invites?
Mariah Carey's never done it.
Mariah Carey's, she's had she's holds records for either Grammys or #1 hits or whatever.
Yeah, but
So-
that would be good.
Hey, what's Lauryn Hill doing? Bring
Marino could probably pull it
90s
off.
bump.
She needs
she's
friends,
not
though.
headlining. She's the aunt. She's the friend.
Yeah. This is Ann Powell.
Yeah, you need a right. Yeah. All right. Good stuff, buddy. Thank you very much for calling in. I still feel like there's about 5 out there bands that are missing.
I'm going to make a list because I thought Bon Jovi was really good. I'm going to add that.
In these 2 hours, we can have 5 people call in and go, hey, numbnuts, you forgot. And then we'd all go, that's right. And we'd bury our heads in our hands. How did we miss it? So right now I'm trying to shake you two up. You guys haven't thought of anything?
I'm the worst for this.
I told you Gwen Stefani and No Doubt.
I hate popular music and popular everything. I'm that guy. Look at me in my black sweater over here.
Black popular. All right, Bon Jovi was a good one, right? I think we can all agree that would work. And what was this one? Garth Brooks and Mariah Carey? That would work, right?
Yeah. All right. Gabby, have you thought of anyone?
I can't. It's hard because I kind of like the solo artist that came from a band, like how Justin Timberlake did it, and then like he did the NSYNC songs and stuff. So I don't hate the Backstreet Boys, but it's hard. I feel like it should be someone like Pitbull, just because he does songs with so many people and like bring all those people, and it's all upbeat and like fun songs. You know, like,
that's smart.
Cool.
That's smart. And here'd be a good counterbalance to that. My suggestion for a you get name power, but you get also something that could be so potentially bad it's entertaining. You got to go with the celebrity, the movie celebrity who turned band. You know, like Bruce Willis has his own side jazz thing. I think Steven Seagal has one. Like that would be my first pick. It would just be something that would have the chance to be so bad. Again, this is where my head's at. This is why I'm bad to ask about these things, because this is what I would want to see. Sabotage on the high stage.
Just get them all out there, because none of those are happening.
Did we say Aerosmith?
Did I see them? I think I've seen them. But I'll take a repeat.
Can't be too windy if you bring Steven Tyler on stage, though. That guy will blow the fuck away.
Oh, hell yeah. No, well, Aerosmith could hold up.
By themselves?
Yeah, you know who I was thinking? Here's another thing to keep in mind. In fact,
they haven't done jack shit, though, in a while,
thing's
though, right?
taken off here.
It is too
Let
windy.
me tell you where the next Super Bowl appearances are, because I think this has something to do with it.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Super Bowl,
geographic, right?
Future Super Bowls, I'll type in. Because if they're in Miami, then I like Gabby's suggestion of Pitbull or like a Mark Anthony. You know what I mean? Is it Anthony or Anthony?
Anthony.
Is it Anthony? Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Tony Soprano.
I don't know why I said it that way, yeah. Super Bowl sites. If it's in New Orleans, then think maybe Jazzy. When you said Bon Jovi, I'm thinking, oh, they're at the Meadowlands.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If they're in Vegas, what do we got? The Killers, and we're barely.
Imagine Dragons would be big.
So maybe.
But I think they just did like either the college final or they did one of those.
Here's the next one: 2020 Miami Gardens. So Pitbull or Mark Anthony.
Yeah, Pitbull would probably be the leading candidate on that one.
Yeah.
By the way, in the chat, Jesse came to our rescue. We didn't see it. He with Aaron Lewis, and Juliet suggested Billy Joel and Elton John.
Billy Joel, dude. I mean, that'd be amazing.
I've seen them in
I like Billy Joel.
Want to go to Brett from Michigan?
Yeah, let's do it. What's up, Brett? How you doing?
Good.
Hey, make it a good one, because I got a great line waiting for you. Please make it a great one.
Okay, so blast from the past, Aerosmith.
Look at the big brain.
And to make it real bad, Steven Tyler's gone country recently, so you could definitely, do the cringe factor, but you need to tag him, team him with Drake. Drake's huge. Everybody loves him. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. I love Drake.
Well, I stopped midway because somebody had already said Aerosmith, but
no R. Kelly, guys.
Hell no.
No.
Drake. You know what, dude? I'm gonna fess up to the world.
You like Drake?
No, I don't. I can't even name one Drake song. And
Same
I know
here.
I'm the one that's dumb, but
I'm with
I think
you.
I've heard a couple of his things, and I just haven't been able to get into it. Maybe I'll give it this week to try and get back into that. But I really don't understand. And he's sold out every time he comes here. It's crazy. But
Really?
I don't know. Maybe I'm just one of those old men.
Is he like Usher, where it's super catchy, but if you read the lyrics, it's super creepy?
He's Atlanta. He could have been there.
Usher?
I think he's from Atlanta.
Okay.
He's Atlanta-based. Okay, the next one's in Miami. The one after that is in Tampa Bay.
Really?
Yeah, the one after that is in L.A., Los Angeles. So
Who's
maybe
LA?
think L.A. I think I have one, but it would only be cool for L.A. It wouldn't be cool for the rest of the world, but they're going to need and friends, I think. But I'll tell you that when we come back from the break.
Right.
Here are the last two as we go out to break. In 2023, it'll be Glendale, Arizona, and in 2024, it'll be back to New Orleans. So there you go, Miami, Tampa, Hollywood, Arizona, and New Orleans. All right, we're going to go to break. It's MMA Junkie Radio on Fight Nation Channel 93. If you can think of an iconic band that could be great for one of these next 5 Super Bowls, we'd love to hear it. Hopefully it's not one of the ones that's already performed or performed lately. We want to see if Junkie Nation can wow us. And yes, we do have some MMA headed your way. We have a couple guests. We'll tell you about that when we come back.
The only
go.
They're so fat they gave Dracula diabetes. Here are your hosts, Gorgeous George and Goes.
Tonight at 10:30 Eastern, the Miami Heat collide with the Portland Trailblazers on NBA Radio, Series 207 and XM 86, and streaming on your phone and at home on Sirius XM connected devices and speakers. Who was the gentleman that said Eminem? But they had the
Kevin from Oregon, I believe.
Kevin from Oregon. That was good. That was good. And Eminem could also bring out Dr. Dre, or vice versa. But Goes made a point. What about the cursing? And I saw when we rewatched Maroon 5 today, because everybody was in an uproar, I was like, all right, let's rewatch this and see what the deal is. I did see it go kind of mute. Like, you know, obviously, who was it? ABC? Who carried the show? CBS? CBS. They had to do that. So, yeah, you're right. They can't just be, you know, completely, you know, scrubbing everything he says. So I'm not an Eminem expert. I know he curses a lot, but are there some songs he could just tweak or...
I mean, they play them on the radio, so I'm sure they can get.
That's what I'm thinking.
But these guys come out and play everything.
Well, you had
right?
a gem during the break. You released it to us, but you didn't tell the audience.
Yeah, Rihanna,
yeah, that
She's
works.
The whatever.
That
That's
works.
Shakira, never mind. Oh, yeah.
And Jay-Z works
I like
as
Shakira.
well.
Jay-Z works.
However,
I
said Duran Duran, and Goes gave me a look like I was crazy, and I'm thinking Duran Duran, I think trumps Maroon 5.
I think they fall under Heart. Like, they're great,
No
and they have
way.
their time. All right, I'll give you this example.
Duran Duran and
we live in Vegas.
Wild
okay?
Boys, it'll
when
be
Maroon
weird.
5 plays here,
weird.
he plays. They usually play Mandalay Bay. That's
and
an
Duran
arena.
Duran's at the Cosmo, and they're like $500 a ticket.
The Cosmo
Heart
though, is
open.
smaller though.
Heart open for who? Def Leppard?
Yeah, but they usually play the House of Blues.
Right. I don't know. You want to make sure about that. I think Duran Duran
plays the Cosmo. The Cosmo is way smaller than an arena.
I
think that kind of tells you like where people are at. You're right. It is a pricey ticket, and I don't know if they sell out, but I love Duran Duran. I think they're awesome.
Yeah. I like Duran Duran too, but if you play Wild Boys, like unless you're a Mirko Krokop fan, like you're gonna play it, and it's gonna sound like you're entering a club that let's just say you wouldn't normally go to. So the football guys will be kind of looking around. Maybe there's one shredded guys going, "Ooh, I love this song."
The MMA crowd's feeling it,
but they haven't had a hit in a while too, right?
I know,
Duran
yeah,
Duran.
Yeah. All right, we had a caller or no?
Yeah, we got Robin.
We gotta do a quick one before we get to Tobias Misech. Yeah, who do we have?
Robin, Michigan.
Robin, Michigan. What's up, bud?
Robin, Virginia.
Robin, Virginia. Same thing. What's up?
VA.
Hey, guys.
What's up, brother?
What's up, Rob?
Hey, guys. I love y'all show, man. I listen to it every single night. Man, I was thinking Kiss.
Yes.
Could probably do
I don't think anything could ever trump that. That would be like the biggest show. I don't think anybody doesn't know who they are, right?
Yeah,
they love football too.
Do they?
Remember they have like an
absolutely.
arena football team, right?
Yeah, so
does Bon Jovi.
Kiss is one of those bands where they say, guess what? We're going out again. They can do a stadium. That's what I'm thinking of. Can you fill up a stadium or a lot of those amphitheaters that are 20,000 deep?
Yeah.
You know, versus, no disrespect, but the House of Blues or the Cosmo, they're smaller ranges. But see, that's Vegas. That's kind of what we have. We don't really have, other than T-Mobile, they don't really have that, and that might be a little bit too big for some of those bands that we're thinking of, the ones that are comeback touring. But Kiss has a big following. I think Kiss, Rihanna have been some good ones, and so is Eminem. And I said 5 before the show's over. So Dan will check social media.
Pitbull, right? Or was that Gabby?
I think by then we had. Did we? All right. Well, that works. Yeah, that's a good one, Rob. I like it.
I could totally see, by the way, like the Super Bowl committee pitching that to Kiss. They're reading things over, and you see Gene Simmons pop his head up. So tell me, is there a lot of tail at these tailgate parties?
He'd be a nightmare to deal with.
All right. We are going to be talking to two fighter guests today,
Mm-hmm.
and they both have fights coming up. We have James Vick on today's show, as well as Toby Misech, or Misech. We'll ask him. I don't want to butcher his name. I like Too Quick, though. So it's probably Misech. Too Quick Misech. Yeah. And they'll be joining us soon, or Goes will give me the green light. Toby's actually fighting at Bellator 215. That's the card headlined by Matt Mitrione and Sergey Karatanov in Uncasville, Connecticut. And it's on February 15th, so we're pretty close, 10 days away. And he'll be facing Eduardo Dantas. Eduardo Dantas is a former champion, former ranked fighter on the USA Today MMAjunkie rankings. And 20-6 overall. Toby's 10-5, so they'll be facing off on the main card. You can catch those fights on Paramount and DAZN. James Vick will join us as well in the second hour. James is fighting Paul Felder. Oof, what a great fight, man! A couple lightweights there that both could use the win over the other guy. They just keep going closer to a title. All right.
How are you gonna watch that fight?
Still no fighter yet?
They're calling right now.
Oh, they're calling right now. Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, so just to end, McGregor, I really liked his appearance. The matching suits were awesome, and you're right. I think Audie's the one that facilitated that.
Probably. I got in his head that you need to do that. Let's take a quick break, and we'll come back with
All right, we'll reshuffle. Yeah, you're right. And then cruise to the finish line of the first hour. It's MMA Junkie Radio on Fight Nation, Channel 93. Remember, there'll be some pockets open, so call in 877-FIGHT-93 if you have a good band for us that hasn't either played or it's been a while that you think could be that headline act in the halftime show. So we'll be right back.
During the commercial break, they were probably talking smack about their next guest, but now they're going to act like they're all cool with him. Here they are, George and Goes.
You know what sells that?
That we probably were?
No. When Rock goes, here's, and then he says, that
laugh?
Yeah, that little chuckle really makes it sound like it was actually taking place. And I'm telling you, one of these fighters is going to be like, fuck you, motherfucker, you know, whatever.
I think so.
Yeah. But what's funny is I do have a confession for Toby Misech, our guest here on the MMA Junkie Radio Show. What's up, Toby? How you doing?
Hey, what's up? How's it going? Thank
Good.
you for having me.
Thank you for doing the MMA Junkie Radio Show. Looking forward to your fight versus Eduardo Dantas in 10 days. But I want to share something with you. You know that Dana White Contender Series show that you were on?
Yeah.
You have two, I don't know if it's teammates, friends, or probably both, that drove me insane as they were cheering for you. All right? Their names are Rachel Ostovich and Kylan Curran. Bro, let me tell you something. For 15 minutes straight, they alternated between, come on, Toby, let's go, Tobias, get him, Tobster, and what was the other one, guys?
Tobes.
And Tobes,
It
yeah.
was those four, and they rotated it. And that's it.
Non-stop, Toby, for 15 minutes. If I would have had one of those ejection buttons, you know, where they shoot those pilots up in the sky and then they parachute and land somewhere in the desert, I would have done it.
Because they were right behind us.
They
So
wouldn't
it was
stop.
one on each side, and it was just loud, and it didn't. I mean, props to them. Like, they really
They're
love you.
They're awesome teammates. Yeah,
Yeah.
they were doing their job.
We just wanted them to mix it up a little bit.
And
Go for a takedown, or it was just come on, come on.
Same thing. And then when we figured out, well, we definitely. You can't even shush someone because everyone will see you and then they'll think you're the jerk. So you can't shush them. You can't give them a look because, A, they're Hawaiians and Hawaiians throw down. And, B, they're Hawaiian fighters. So I'm getting my ass whooped, you know, while all this is taking place. Hell no, I don't want no part of that.
I can still hear it.
So I just had to sit there. But, Toby, you have the best teammates and friends. I got to tell you that. I know that night didn't go your way, but still the support you had was incredible.
Yeah, that's the local style.
All right, buddy. So listen,
That's awesome.
you're taking this fight kind of on late notice. Yeah, you know, well, not kind of, but you are. But I like it, man. I like it because Eduardo Dantas is a name. You know, he's a former champ who held the belt and was ranked at, you know, in many of the ranking outlets that do all of MMA or whatever. And so I like the fact that you're stepping up and taking this matchup because this can be one of those fights that kind of sends you in an upward swing, you know what I mean? Every time we need to rank someone, like when we're doing our rankings, we're always looking for, well, who have they beaten or what kind of a streak are they on or whatever, and that's what tells us where you stand. So tell me about what you felt when you were told, you know, that you had the opportunity to fight Eduardo Dantas, and did you see it the same way?
Oh, yeah, I felt, as soon as I got that text, I felt super excited. You know, I felt like it was finally my time to prove it that I belong with the top guys out there. And I felt like I was more than ready for this opportunity.
I'm glad you used that word. Did you need to ask your coaches or your teammates, hey, am I ready? Or have you already known all along that you can beat up a guy like Eduardo Dantas or anyone else that's kind of like, you know, ranked towards the top of Bellator?
No, not even my coaches have to ask. I think we all knew for a while that I didn't get the right showing, or, you know, that contender fight, that really wasn't me. I had a 2-year layoff. Now I'm back home training in my original team, so there's a lot of difference coming into this fight.
Yeah, and you're coming in with, you know, some pop. You've won 5 of your last 6, so I'm looking forward to it. All right, Goes, what do you have for Toby? Tobster, Tobias, Tobes.
Tobes?
Yeah.
Toby, being able to fight in Hawaii, fight in front of the Hawaiians, I couldn't think of a better scenario for you. Can that be topped? Because even this scenario is pretty damn good, but I just don't know that that the other scenario can be topped. Can it?
You know what can top that? From what I heard, Bellator is thinking about twice a year coming to Hawaii.
Twice?
I can get a win over Dantas, maybe another win over another top contender, and maybe a title shot in Hawaii. That would be amazing.
Now, okay, you got Dantas ahead of you. A win over Dantas, do you feel like with the promotion, now maybe you can dictate the terms a little bit? Tell them who you want next, that sort of thing.
I don't. Just because I got a win over Dantas, I don't think so. You know, I'm kind of still a newcomer into the league, so I feel like I would have to maybe get 1 or 2 more wins. Then I can say. Toby,
too quick. Misech is our guest here on MMAjunkie Radio, and he's fighting at Bellator 215 versus Eduardo Dantas. The fight takes place on the main card. You can catch the fights on Paramount or DAZN starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Start Time. The main event that night will be Matt Mitrione versus Sergey Karatanov, and that's one hell of a main event too. All right, let's turn it over to the fight analyst, Dan Tom. Dan, what do you got for the fellow Hawaiian, Tobias?
Hey, what's up, Toby? Yeah, these guys saw you at Dana White Tuesday. Good. Yeah, these guys saw you when you were out here for Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series, but I actually didn't go to that one. But I did go back to my home as well, Hawaii, and I caught you live at Bellator 212, and I gotta say, man, I was really impressed. You know that kid, I didn't know much about him, Edward Tomes, but he showed to be tough. And what I was really impressed of was that you were finding your range pretty early, and it looked like you might have even been able to get him out of there early. But again, he was a real tough kid, and he kept pushing through. And it makes you think: is this going to be one of those situations where a guy can't get somebody out of there, and then does he crumble? And no, you stayed consistent, and you ended up getting that flying knee and punches in the third round. Is that kind of what you were alluding to when George was asking, when you were telling George that you've been ready?
Yeah, I guess I got, a lot of people don't know this, but I got almost 50 fights under my belt, amateur and pros including. So we've been preparing for this moment a long time, and that's how I like to fight. I don't just straight look for knockouts. I like to, pitter-patty and break them down slowly. So, yeah. Yeah,
again, I find that more impressive, too. And second part to that is, yes, you're right, your experience. Because when I look here, win or lose, you fought some really, big names. You see UFC names early on in your record, like Dustin Kimura. And for people that don't know, PXC is a hotbed for not just, the Pacific and South Pacific, but Southeast Asia. They get a lot of fighters from there, a lot of tough fighters that a lot of, North American fans aren't aware of, or maybe deceptive, records and experience. But can you tell me about that? What was it like fighting for PXC early on? Because you hear a lot of other guys really credit that organization for helping them get that feel of travel and competition before they hit the bigger stages like a Bellator.
It was amazing, actually. It kind of prepares you for the big stages. Their show was big out there. The fans get into it. They bring competitors from all over the world. Then you got to travel. We got to travel about 8-hour flight, so it gets us ready. But it was an amazing experience. I got to fight for their title, and I was blessed to be a part of it.
That's awesome. All right. Well, like I say, I applaud you for taking this fight. I think there's a lot to gain and very little to lose. You're going in there with some steam. You've won 5 of your last 6. And you're coming off, like Goz said, probably one of the biggest nights of your career, getting a stoppage like that in front of your home state crowd. So congrats, Toby, and thank you for being a good sport there with us joking around about that Dana White Contender Series night.
Yeah.
I almost went in the parking lot and stabbed the kid, but I was able to calm down and cool off.
Dude, go back and watch it. I know you can hear him. You got to be able to hear him in the background.
Yeah, you could hear him, right, Toby?
Oh,
yeah.
You can hear. Yeah.
Toby.
And you can tell a local voice. Yeah.
It got to the point that I wanted to just shift gears. I almost said, "Give me a T," and then Goz would have said, "Give me an O," just to break it up, right?
Yeah, just a little different.
That rotation was just.
Plus it's so quiet, yeah. Plus it's so quiet and small in there, so you can hear everything. But
you sure can.
Yeah.
It was fun, though. All right. Hey, man, good luck with whatever days you have left to prepare yourself, and safe travels to Uncasville. That's almost like a 10-hour flight, 5 from Hawaii to L.A., and then another 5 that way. So get your body right and straightened out, and go out there and do your thing on February 15th. And thank you very much for the time here on MMA Junkie Radio.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. It's going to be a great fight.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Shout out to Ed Cap for lining that one up, and Goz as well. All right. So the band, and I think I have one, Goz, but I'm going to shoot you straight. It's an oldie but goodie, so I don't know that it can just hang there with – I don't think I'm going to wow the crowd, but I think you guys would agree that if we throw that person out there, notice how I didn't say him or her, along with a partner, then I think we have ourselves a Super Bowl show. But you go first.
Me go first?
Or is yours so good that I should open up for your headline bout?
I don't know about that. I think it's pretty good, though.
All right, let's hear it.
The Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
I think they could do it by themselves.
Yeah. Dave Grohl's like one of those guys that's like a connecting piece. You can do stuff with other guys.
Go back and play,
Didn't was it
if you could pull that off, that'd be nice.
Was it Josh that played a thing for us that Dave Grohl actually recently did a Metallica came on a stage with some other big band and they did a Metallica cover.
He could do a lot of shit, man.
Brown band.
Oh yeah. I heard that. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
That is a good one.
Like one that Brock comes out to.
I was gonna say something like, bear with me here. Lionel Richie and the Smashing Pumpkins.
Lionel Richie and the Smashing Pumpkins?
Lionel Richie?
Yeah, man, all night long. Somebody's going to win and celebrate all night long.
You could do Lionel Richie, but I don't know if you could do him with the Smashing Pumpkins.
Remember, you can think outside the box.
I know.
It doesn't have to be another R&B band. Remember, we're trying to appease the whole crowd. We're trying to bring the country together.
Okay.
Hey, can I throw a quick wrench in here real quick?
No,
Yeah,
you're off
please.
today's show. It's Gabby's show. So you're
Nah,
off.
please. I'm
drunk
invading.
James Hetfield.
Go
Come
ahead,
on,
Josh.
drunk James
What you got,
Hetfield.
Josh? Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm invading like Metallica should invade the halftime show. Let me ask you this though: if you could have any one fight be put on at halftime of the Super Bowl, like they wheel a damn octagon onto the field, what would it be?
It's got to be heavyweights, I think. Cormier and
No,
Stipe.
well, with high finishing rates, yeah. But
Yeah.
the scary thing is Ngannou and Lewis should have been the end-all, be-all, as far as two titans colliding, and you saw what happened there. I think I go with lightweights and play it safe and just give me just some Justin Gaethje and Poirier part 2.
Well, okay.
All right, but I got one. Because
can't have him hit the
once we
ground.
come back in the second hour, we're moving away from this, and unless a caller calls in. But I think I got one where you're all going to go, holy crap.
Okay.
You ready?
All right.
It is
The following?
the following. Fuck, I just spaced it. Oh,
Really?
Matt Erickson's band.
Oh, Pearl Jam.
Pearl Jam.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one.
Well,
That's it?
Yeah.
I didn't wow you guys?
I don't know. I was gonna say fish. Is Matt Erickson a fish
None
fan?
of you guys said, oh, shit, how did I forget that one?
No, that's a good one. It's solid.
On their own?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out is, like, I don't know what they're, like, how relevant they are now. Damn, dude, Matt's going to
We're not relevant in Matt Erickson's life because if he's listening, he should have called in. I could have sworn he's the one that said, thanks, George, when I sent the guest list, which means he's not tuning in, and now we have a problem.
No, Pearl Jam's a high demographic because you think about all those dudes in the '90s
They
who
sell
were like,
stadium shows.
ah man, riding my Jeep and I'm listening to Pearl Jam. Like even those guys now, the older versions of them are Super Bowl demographic. Are still right in that demographic
and
spot.
they do the stadium shows, so they're
There we go.
capable of that. All right, here's one quick one. I know we got to bounce. I'm gonna get laughed at. The Beach Boys.
I think they're great, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it'll work.
All right. It's the top of the hour break. We'll be back in 60 seconds. MMA Junkie Radio.
Maybe them.
Green Day?
Yeah.
Do what they say. Your life will be a lot better. Here are Gorgeous and Goes.
Gabby, is this your way of saying I now submit Green Day as one of those bands that could do a Super Bowl?
No, but this is a good song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as he played it, I think they could probably do it too.
What about Depeche Mode?
Okay, I thought about that earlier.
That's a stadium show.
I just don't know. It's more of like a niche people. Because I thought of The Cure too. I think it's like such a small demographic.
Kiss.
This is emo, bro.
Yeah, but Kiss, when they're standing there,
But bro-
like, you can't just walk by and go, "Oh, band." You go, "Whoa, what's going on there?"
Yeah, Kiss. You get where's I love Depeche Mode
Okay,
and
let's
Cure,
say
but
I love them. Dude.
let's say Showtime is at the concert, and he's with Lerone, and Kiss comes on. Are they rushing the stage?
No.
All right, then. That's what I'm saying. They're isolated more towards the heavy metal crowd, mostly white people.
Yeah, but even their hits, Depeche Mode's hits, I don't know that they're like hits where like you're hearing them on commercials. And
Then
shit
why
like
do they
that.
sell out? Well, not sell out stadium shows, but they're capable of doing a stadium show.
And also, it's not something you
They
guys
don't play that
rooting it back to MMA guys. This is something you're going to walk out to. Is going to have a certain energy. Like I was just saying, I'm a huge Depeche Mode fan. I'm a huge Cure fan. But again, kind of like to what George said, the guys are just like, I like steak or football or lifted trucks. Like that's like your main people. I'm sorry, football fans, but that's how I see you. But that's like your main people you're playing to.
That's why. Yeah, you're right.
So it's like, yeah, I mean, there's
You gotta-
what is this emo stuff? This is emo. Like that's what you're gonna get if they would.
Yeah, that's why Lionel Richie maybe didn't go over as well as I thought.
That
Ray
was
Sefo would be here, though. He would be fist bumping, right?
Oh, yeah.
He loves Lionel Richie. All right. Anyway, Super Bowl. See you next year. What can you do? Goes is still on your bucket list to go to one?
Yes, I have to.
Me
at some
too.
Point.
I feel the same.
I don't even.
You guys still
my
haven't
team
been to
doesn't-
one? Wow.
No, man. I don't even think my team has to be involved. I just want to be at one.
All right. So we talked about Conor McGregor. I mentioned Poirier and Gaethje in passing. Let's talk about UFC lightweights.
Okay.
Charles Oliveira called out Kevin Lee. And
Join the club.
as soon as I thought about it, I go, I don't think Kevin would be down, but Kevin's last appearance here, he said, I may have to look down in the rankings. So he kept it real with us and realized that because there's a tie-up at the top, he perked up with the Poirier name, but he understood Poirier may not want him. Kevin might be open to it. What do you think of Lee versus Oliveira? That would be an interesting fight.
Just as a fan?
Yeah. Well,
yes, very
as a
interesting
fan
fight.
or as a pseudo matchmaker?
If I'm looking at it from Kevin's perspective, I mean, weren't we all saying like, man, if Chiesa can get him down, and he battled through that, but Oliveira, God, I don't know. If I were Kevin's manager, I would probably say, let's look somewhere else. Not that I don't think Kevin can do it. The reward for it probably isn't that big. But matchup-wise, it's one of those fights that you see come up on the bill, and it motivates you to buy a ticket to the event. Because you just know it's going to be a great fight.
You feeling that?
I was just saying here on the show, I believe yesterday, that I wanted to see Oliveira. You know, he's such a dangerous matchup for the top wrestlers in the division because the rankings, the odds, or however you want to measure it, it's going to equal out real quick if you understand styles matches in this game, right, guys? And for that reason, it's a compelling matchup, kind of like what Goes was saying as a fan, but that's a trap fight for Kevin Lee. I would not want that if I was managing him. Not saying that Kevin Lee wouldn't be favored, that Kevin Lee can't or won't win, or that I would even be picking against him. I'm not saying any of those things, but that is a deceptively very dangerous matchup for Kevin Lee, and I'll say that. I would not want that for him as a manager.
Okay. Now, I think the lightweight division is shaking out in front of our eyes in subtle ways. Remember, Ali loves the attention that he's getting as being kind of like the manager of MMA. You know, the guy that's a mover and a shaker. Audie's got some big clients. Brian Butler's got some big clients.
Malky Kawa likes attention.
Yeah, but Malky Kawa is really focused on football. Ali's all in on MMA. But Ali sends out tweets or answers certain questions that I think benefit the clients or kind of shift the narrative in a certain direction. And I saw one the other day where someone just was talking about either lightweights or Tony or something, and he said, I think Khabib fights Tony next. He just pretty cut and dry. Like, Ali just wouldn't put that out unless he, at that moment, just felt this is what's happening. And I don't think he was probably happy about it, you know, because he either wants Floyd or he wants Conor again.
I was going to say.
Because you know how he keeps saying Conor's a bitch or, you know, I think he's trying to antagonize that side.
Ali has unfinished business with them.
Ali as well. But between that and Cerrone saying he's got something huge coming up in a phone call he did with Chael Sonnen, and the fact that Conor gave him props on the fight and said he'd love to fight him, I think, guys, that soon we'll find out that Conor will be fighting Donald Cerrone and Tony and Khabib will fight. Now, I wish Tony and Khabib on April 13th on the upcoming pay-per-view where nothing's been announced. Hell, they're already announcing Amanda Nunes. Sorry, we're speculating that Amanda Nunes and Holly Holm could be fighting on the fight card that I think, don't quote me, I think it's like May 13th in Curitiba, Brazil. I think that's going to be a pay-per-view. There are already rumors about that one, but have you noticed there's not one about April, which leads me to believe that maybe a Khabib or Conor could fight on that card, or maybe both. I mean, but I still feel like that's a work in progress. And the reason I say this is because if Khabib doesn't fight by that date, Ramadan will take him through at least August or September. And I don't know that the UFC will be that patient for anyone not named Conor McGregor.
I still haven't seen any public service announcement. Have you?
What was the timeline on that? How soon did he have
had
to
do it like relatively quickly.
A week?
Probably somewhere around there. I will say this. I like where your head's at, but there is no way you put those two guys on a card together if they're not fighting each other. I think that's just a recipe for disaster. I think they would want to stay
is
away from
Khabib
that.
an established pay-per-view star? because he's at the top of the bill. But if you have Conor there, you're selling an incredible pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
And what does that do? That still leaves us with Poirier and Nate Diaz, Lee versus Oliveira or whatever. The winner of Vick and Felder is going to say, what about me? Barbosa and Gaethje. That's such an exciting division.
I agree about Cowboy and Conor, though. I think that's their new Nate Diaz fight. I think where even if for some reason, if Conor were to lose that fight, if Conor were to lose, I think it'd probably be somewhat entertaining, maybe even enough where you could do it again sometime, you know?
Yeah, a lot to unpack there. Starting with what you originally started with the management thing. I wasn't sure with what you're asking there as far as what it goes with Ali, but I feel like we're just hearing conflicting stories everywhere. Like I heard the opposite. Been hearing Ali say the complete opposite. And you know they don't want nothing to do with Ferguson or that least deserving.
When did you last hear that?
Just tweets and stuff earlier this week and stuff. I don't know if it was with Ariel
mine was like
or
in the last 24 hours. I thought, why would he say that? Out of all the questions he wanted to answer, why did he say that?
Maybe he finally got cornered and had to concede that the sky is effing blue. That's not an insult toward Ali. That's just calling the sky blue because I haven't seen a clear goddamn contender or champion in any other division than the man who doesn't have it, named Tony Ferguson, for that goddamn streak. God damn, sorry. Yeah. People just don't give him enough goddamn credit. Yeah, so thank you, Josh. And yeah, so I completely co-sign with you guys. You nailed it. Those 4 matchups make the most sense. And like Go said, putting them on the same card, which I know you're a big fan of, George.
You want to keep them separate?
No.
You like them on the same card?
Keep them on the same. And then I will not allow myself to attend it either because I feel like every time I've tried to attend this Khabib and Tony fight, whether it's New York or here, something's went wrong. And I've had bad luck in general, whether it's UFC 200 or so thinking about even going to UFC 232 and everything I've been either pulled the trigger, bought a ticket, or attended to. It's been really some of their more catastrophic cards as of late. So I don't want to give the bad juju to that matchup.
I think if Khabib gives in and fights on April 13th, he's not going to do it in Vegas. I mean, I think they'll want it here. But if there's a city that the UFC would allow this fight to happen, where would it be? I don't think it can be in New York City, and I'll tell you why. Because I think they're committed to November for that one.
Okay.
And they were just in Brooklyn. So
true. Good
if
points.
we leave Vegas out and we leave New York out, what's the next biggest city that the UFC loves going to that could host a mega card like that? We're just having fun.
Chicago, maybe.
Chicago, maybe. I was hoping you'd say L.A.
L.A.?
Yeah, I was hoping you'd say that.
L.A.'s snake bitten, though. Everything that ever goes there falls apart.
Yeah, including the Rams.
You mean L.A. and Orange County, right? Like,
yeah,
one of those two.
Yeah.
And where's that April card? Is that here?
They haven't announced it. April 13th.
Oh, they haven't announced where it's going to be. I would say Vegas, also because of with the commission thing, that's going to be an interesting caveat if they're going to even need to push that or not with the bullying, as far as how much that takes off. And again, getting kind of misinformation where a lot of us, and Khabib, from what he's kind of said in interviews, says one thing, but then obviously management doing their job, what they're supposed to, but saying, he's going to do it, he's going to comply. So it's really hard to know where the ball's going to fall there, guys. But here's why I say this, kind of like why we're having Jones and Woodley on the same card for Nevada after this thing. If it almost feels like a give back, like a nice, like almost like a mafia style, a nice gesture. Like, yeah, we're going to go through official hearings. Of course, we're going to go through law-abiding. We're not asking you to treat us any different. You do your job, commission. But yeah, we're going to bring some of our biggest money makers here in the next couple months. We put that on the schedule just to let you know that's coming your way.
And I'll tell you what, that's the card that could fill up that stadium that's being built. Conor and Cowboy and Khabib and Tony on the same card. Come on, that one's a big one, right?
That'd be dope. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're in fantasy land because we don't know any of that. It's just tweets that we got and people dropping hints and interviews that have been done. So I figured maybe we could take a stab at putting the pieces together.
There we go.
Amanda Nunes, we touched on it yesterday, but if you guys wanted to share anything else, have you thought about it a little bit more? My theory is she's got 3 to 5 more fights. I think now's the time where she can make some money, really, really cash in on those pay-per-view buys. Brazil's seems to be, welcoming her more as one of their big name champions, whereas at first I think there was either hesitancy. I don't know if it was because she lives in Florida or what, but I don't know. I felt like Brazil wasn't embracing her like they had the Aldos and Silvas and JDSs of the world. But she got a loud pop this past Saturday, and I think things are starting to change. And she beat another Brazilian in highlight fashion. So why walk away from that?
Especially she just got over the toughest part of the schedule when it comes to female mixed martial arts. She's gotten over that.
She said break at one point, and I think that's what it is. I think there's still the Zingano fight. I think it can sell because she would be avenging a loss. I think there's the home fight, and I don't know if an Aspen lad or who might be a third name that gets
Cyborg
another win or two, and then they're in there. Yeah, there's Cyborg rematch. There's fights there. Like let's say if you paired Aspen and Juliana Pena together, the winner would have a little bit of hype later in 2019 if she just wanted to stick with 35. You're right. She could maybe do Cyborg again at 45, but now Valentina might even be a player at 25, but she said that one would take some time. And if Valentina starts skidding people at 125, who knows? They could possibly build that one up because the first loss wasn't a title loss. The second one was.
True. I don't know about you guys. I'm of the camp guys where I'm genuinely not surprised at all about this. Not only am I not surprised at all. Not only am I not surprised, I'm actually willing to bet, if we're placing odds on it, that she has a less likely room for a comeback if she does retire than your typical quote-unquote male retiree. And then if she does come back, it's only going to be for a nice measured thing, which we wouldn't disagree, like a Valentina building up kind of the scenario you just gave, which would make sense. And in either way, that's kind of superfluous to the bigger point where, again, not being surprised and seeing that a lot of people are surprised. And I'll cite a tweet, actually. I'll cite a tweet and add to it, the one that our own Fernanda Practice, she came on yesterday, but she tweeted that, you remember these fighters that they're human beings at the end of the day. I don't have the words of her tweet exactly in front of me, but that was essentially kind of the spirit of it. That these people have lives, and that we talk about how hard MMA is and how many things have to go right for you to get a win, much less have a goddamn career. It's so difficult in the sport, and life hits us. Life hits us all no matter what spots we're in, and some things, change your responsibilities as a human being, and that as well. And these fighters aren't exempt from that. And I guess what I'll add to it, and I feel kind of bad because I'm not the female, but I feel like the female perspective here, guys, is the key to this. A lot of I don't know if it's criticisms or observations, how it's the spirit that it's meant, but you see here, of course Rousey was able to plow through it. It was a bunch of girls who was like, doing cardio kickboxing to get in shape after a pregnancy, and she ends up being a pro fighter. This is who's and kind of which parlays into arguments that you've had on this show, George, where you're like, look at the roster spots. We're cutting these guys, but yet we're giving these opportunities, and that gets a bit heated, but it's fair. And sorry, I'm getting a little tangent in here, guys, but essentially, if that example is true, well, then that example is the other way, too. They can get out of the sport just as easily, right? And again, we're not females. We don't know what it's like to have a complete biological change. We hear fathers all the time talk about, when I had a baby, it changed my life, and I'm sure that's very true. James Vick can probably tell us that. He's going to come on. I believe he's told us similar things. But I believe it's a complete different experience that really affects not just your psychological, like the male and the father, but there's this whole physiological change swap over that we have no clue over. So whether you are gay or straight, at the end of the day, Amanda Nunes is a woman with needs and a certain physiological build that we don't understand.
Mm-hmm. And I do know a little bit about that couple. All right, I know that Nina is the one that has stated she would like to carry, and Nina's the one that I think wanted to get out of the sport sooner. She's just waiting to lose, except she hasn't been. She's been winning.
Right.
So one thing Nunes also said was support Nina in her run. So I just think it's just a headline that she threw out there, guys. But again, even if Nina carries, not that Amanda wouldn't be there, but I think she could still be there and fight. It's a 9-month process, and that could really set them up fine. I mean, I don't know how much she could have, or they both could have together possibly banked. But I know they can bank a lot more, and right now no one's even coming close to Amanda Nunes. She's not even experiencing, I don't think, headaches, or she didn't have a poor weight cut recently. I don't know how hard 35 is. Maybe that's why we should tap the brakes on the possibility of 25. But I still think that at 35, she could just distance herself from so many others. We talk about Mount Rushmore. She could just be Mount Olympus, at the very top, rather than sharing the spotlight with the Carranos and Cyborgs and Rouseys and Tates and whoever else. But That's just my theory. I think there's still 3 to 5 more fights left, and I think we should all just cool our heels. I don't think it's going to happen.
And great point about, she won't be the one carrying, but I'll kind of add to that point of this and pitch it back to you guys, going off our library in our head here. I don't think it's a bad idea for her to want to retire, at least for the portion of starting a family, because not only fighters starting families during their fight career, but when they are champions, we've seen it before. When they have kids, it kind of changes them a bit. One of my favorite fighters, and you've heard coaches of his say the same kind of thing, BJ Penn, he shows up to that super fight, that rematch with George St. Pierre. That's his first time as a father. And he was, talk about having trouble switching, going from a killer in training camp to having to come home. It affects a bunch of guys. You probably can have names speculatively. You might not want to say out loud, but I'm sure you're thinking of it. Not everybody can be like, in my opinion, much more rare, Frankie Edgar, who has a bunch of kids, a bunch of title shots. It was all just another day at work for Frankie Edgar. He's got a lunch pill. He's like, oh, we taking care of the kids today? We're fighting for a title today. We're fighting a world champion. Okay, cool. Not everybody's wired like that's a rare wiring, right, guys?
Yeah. No, I agree. I was thinking of different names, and I don't think I could have picked a better one than Frankie Edgar. I think he's got 4 kids. Eddie Alvarez is another guy that's kind of risen to the occasion as well, and I think he's walking around with 3 or 4 kids.
Their biggest runs while they were building said families.
Yeah.
Maybe what she can do if she does walk away is, when you think about it, she doesn't have very many big names to attach to a pay-per-view. So maybe what she could do is just go away and let those new stars build, so that when her return is back, it's her trying to recapture her belt or something. There's got to be some kind of storyline, because she's murking people.
Let me shift gears real quick. This should only last 30 seconds. Give me yes, no, and then a comment or two. Are the Brazilian ring card girls more cheerful and having fun than the American ones?
Yeah. Yes.
That's just a thought that I wrote down. I wrote Brazil chick.
Yeah. By the way, I never look at George's
They seem
notes.
like they're having a blast doing their job, whereas the other ones seem like they just get paid well and they don't want the run to end.
Okay.
But the Brazilian
part
ones
of it's
look
probably us too. We've just seen it so much that when you see a new face,
like Vanessa and Chrissy, I don't know that anyone's ever gone. They haven't even approached the level of Brittany and Ariane. And Rochelle and Tito's
Amber,
they really seemed into it, but I don't know. I feel like a few of them they're there, but they're just taking up space a little bit. And then I watched the Brazilian ones the other day, and they're posting up Instagram videos, dancing along with the songs, kind of like more interaction with the fans. And I'm just thinking, wow, I think they love their jobs a little bit more. Shout out to Luciana. It's Luciana, Jenny, and what's the other girl's name? Edith? I think it's an Edith. Yeah.
I haven't seen Edith in a minute.
Maybe
but you're right. But I was going to ask you, is that like a cultural thing? Like, I don't have much experience with. That sounds bad. Much experience with, the Brazilian people. I should just say. I'll just put it that way. But like, is that a thing? Because like, for example, like when I was in Spain, when I finally break the ice and like talk to a girl on the street, or like even just like a basic thing, like, hey, I'm trying to find the lavandria, the laundromat, or whatever, like this or that. Like they were really like friendly, and kind of I don't know, like it was a different vibe,
feel
right?
That way. I've traveled the world, and I feel a lot more warmth.
It wasn't like the French girls, man.
South of the equator.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now that's not to say that I haven't met cool Dutch people or German people, but I'm saying like, if you line up the 100 or 1,000 people that I came in contact with, like where's the restroom, taxi. Right. I'll take check please or whatever. Yeah, I feel more warmth that way, but I can honestly, openly say that's just. I think it's kind of the way it is. Honestly, if you really have a problem with it, call in. But I'm pretty sure I can check you on that, man.
No, it's not.
Latino people are warm. They're really, really cool. That's why everything starts off with a kiss on the cheek, and none of this. Wait. Pleasure to meet you.
And real quick, for anybody comes at you, it's not a color thing. So remember, before anybody comes at George by saying that, because I will say, like for example, when I went all over Europe, and I went to Scotland, and again, they were. If you want to find people who you can make a joke, an offensive joke, and you're not going to offend them, those are going to be the people. Like they're fun. They're great at the bars, at that kind of a thing.
Edinburgh's a spot.
Edinburgh, yeah, but then like Amsterdam felt like really cold. Felt like Vegas, the Vegas of really just felt like that fake kind of like sketch vibe and this and that. But then, for example, Germany, they're super friendly. They all speak great English, and they're apologizing for their bad English. Like, you guys realize like you speak the best English of everybody there?
Did you?
In Germany?
When we were in we
were in 2 different parts, so I think we covered this. You guys were out, and I was in Munich.
What was the name of that city?
It was more younger.
Oberlin or something like that?
Overstreet, forget. No, Leipzig.
Overstreet.
Leipzig. I went up to study.
That was empty. That was like a ghost town.
It was, and I went to somebody and said something. I mean, excuse me now, I don't remember, but it was something. I remember Stadion is stadium, and I remember saying, where is the Stadion, right? Now, that should not be too bad. I said it how it's supposed to be said. Yeah. Stadion should stand out. But it's in the middle of the World Cup. And probably the reason the place was empty is because everyone was watching games, you know? And they looked at me like, what? You know? And I was thinking, like, I think I even did, like, a soccer ball and Stadion, World Cup, Copa del Mundo. I said so many things, and they just looked at me like, huh? You don't remember that?
Yeah, that place was really like.
Oh,
you know
man,
when they say like places are empty because something's going like. There was nobody.
That was like actually.
It was a ghost town.
Germany, man.
I'm picturing George doing that. It's like that scene in Blow where Johnny Depp they're trying to score weed in Mexico. It's like El Weed, El
Weed. All right. How about DC? Now I wrote DC cutoff date because I wanted to talk about this the other day, but now I'm not so focused on the cutoff date. I think that's.
Obviously,
it's obvious. He's not going to retire by March 19th or 20th when he turns 40. Sounds like he wants to have one more fight. I still think he wants to have it with Brock Lesnar. And perhaps Brock needs to fulfill WrestleMania first, and then maybe he can do this. So, therefore, DC would extend his retirement date to the summer maybe. He's also still not healthy. So, I think even if Brock had said, hey, bitch, March 2nd, what's up? I thought DC would have been able to accept. But in that, now it's opening the door a little bit for DC, and JDS has thrown out his name or whatever. Do you want to see DC? I asked you this before, but do you guys still want to see DC like just have one more or three more? And have you revisited who your top three are? Since it sounds like DC and Jones just is not going to happen.
I just want him to have one more. I think one more makes sense.
Still Brock, or do you think Stipe deserves it?
I don't know that.
And how long should Stipe wait?
That's the thing. Okay, he said that he feels like he's owed one, and I don't know. I think that time's kind of just come and gone. I think he needs to fight someone else. I would say if I'm Daniel Cormier, Brock, it's a fresh matchup. It's a former champion. Just start to pad things on your record so that you can strengthen your case of being the greatest of all time.
Right.
I think if he beats Stipe again, it's just like it's going to get lost in the shuffle a little bit.
All right. Well, look, we have a couple audio clips from an interview DC did with MMA Fighting. First one, he talks about he can beat DC. And the second one is he feels like he's owed a shot. And I don't know that I disagree with him on the second one, but the first one is a tough sell for anyone that's a DC fan because DC cleanly won the first one. But let's hear those, Gabby, if you don't mind, those cuts there from Miocic.
DC is a great fighter. He deserves everything he's gotten because he's beaten everyone. But I truly believe I'm the better fighter. And I'm going to prove that to myself. Because I know in my heart that I'm the better fighter. No questions. 100%.
What is getting this fight back do for you?
Everything. Because he's not where I need to be. I think about it every day. About him beating me. Knowing I should have beat him. Not about me getting that belt back and beating him and knowing that I truly believe I can beat him, but also to show my daughter when she gets older that no matter how hard you get knocked down, you get up, you dust yourself out, keep moving forward.
All right, so that's the first one with him seeing he can beat DC. Look, he's supposed to say that. Him being the better fighter, I guess he's supposed to say that as well. The records are pretty similar. It's not like Miocic has lost a ton of fights. He hasn't. But he clearly got beat by DC, and DC has the better record. DC's got a very formidable heavyweight record, too. It's not a guy that came up and, boy, you know, he's struck gold. So he's luckily in a position where he can probably demand a rematch. I can't hate on him, you know, for campaigning. All right, let's hear the second cut, please, if you don't mind, with Stipe Miocic.
Stand-up guy, we shake hands with each other. I play, you know, with his kids on a song. We wrestle around with each other. You know, we say hi to each other. You know, I honestly do believe he owes me this one. Seriously.
Do you feel that?
I don't.
Why not?
Well, it just.
Oh, you want to say, or you want to get into the daily debate?
I want to get in the daily debate.
Okay,
it has exactly to do with this.
All right, let's do that then. I guess you're right. So today's daily debate does include Stipe Miocic. We're good to go?
If you want to set it up, yeah, you go.
All right, so here we go. Today's daily debate, brought to you by the MMAjunkie radio team, says Stipe Miocic has been pining for a heavyweight title rematch with champ Daniel Cormier. Cormier doesn't think he should be obligated to give him one. What do you think? Here are your choices. Stipe should be next. Stipe should have to wait. So it's kind of like a yes/no, but tell me which one feels right.
What feels right was, at the time, I think he should have gotten a rematch. But that time, I feel like it's just passed. And Daniel Cormier moving up to heavyweight, I feel like that dude taking on one of the best heavyweights of all time, getting a victory, and really not having too much doubt in what he did. He finished him in the first round. I think he deserves to call his own shot for that last fight. And I think we all know he wants Brock Lesnar.
But why do you feel like at that time, Lesnar came in and they had the promo, it felt right. Oh, we got to wait till January because he decided, okay, we'll wait. But now January's come and gone. We're in February. You don't feel like, if anything, the Lesnar pub is the buzz has kind of went away, and maybe it is shifting back to Miocic, it being the right thing. He was the most decorated champion ever, and, you know, he had some title defense. I mean, I don't know.
It doesn't matter what I think. It matters what Joe Lunchpail thinks. And
but you're Joe Lunch. You're answering right now.
If I'm Joe Lunchpail, yeah.
No, you're you.
I'm me.
Yeah. You gave your response, and I just don't understand.
No, because
I thought it was the opposite. I thought the buzz was bigger in July.
It wasn't. When I heard that in July, all I could think of was, he's not even a part of the UFC right now. Why are we entertaining this? But as time went on, and now he's back in the USADA pool, okay, I get it. And I get where DC's coming from. Everything that he's done, I feel like if there's one dude on the planet that can call his own shot, it's that guy.
I'm leaning more towards Miocic deserves it over Lesnar, especially after going to Royal Rumble. I saw Lesnar, and I've listened to Busted Open, and those guys are talking about Lesnar and his appearance at WrestleMania, and I'm like, okay, well now what? Like, we're still going to wait on just this guy. That guy's going to need to start a camp and trim down. I don't know, man. I think, look, had Lesnar been there, yes, he stepped over Miocic's spot. All right? But now he's just not there, so I'm willing to move forward. So that's my stance. I would say Stipe should be next. You're saying Stipe should have to wait. Dan?
It's hard to answer because what is going on with the Brock Lesnar thing? What is going on? Can anybody tell me?
He's going to be at WrestleMania, and that's in April, and that's like early April if I'm not mistaken. Let's just call it April. So when does Brock fight? Maybe when do him and DC fight? Next International Fight Week, which would mean one whole year where the title just nothing moved. And we got candidates, man.
See, I was of the thought that it was going to happen when it happened, or happen early this year, and I was one that I wasn't upsetting or there's pro wrestling stuff going on. At the end of the first Stipe and DC match, I dug it. I was all in. I'm seeing pictures of Brock Lesnar looking like USADA so I'm figuring he's on his way. Yet I'm not hearing anybody comment on it from the UFC, Cormier, or any parties.
His penalty of 1 year that lapsed, I think, in January.
But I'm still not hearing them talk about it, and what is on paper is sketchy because didn't they miss a month or miss a couple of tests, and there was some confusion there at the system. There has just been way too much
magnificent Morocco.
Way too much sketchy stuff going on for me to give a solid answer. So now with the time past, I feel like it's died down. And even though I was on board with the Lesnar one, if you're asking me does Stipe deserve a rematch, I'd be like, on paper he deserves it, but for all these reasons that you kind of listed, I'm all for Brock. But again, with this dying down of talk and waiting around and craziness, I vote Stipe should be next. Put me on for that.
All right. Well, you have a final.
My final point in this is how many times have we said in Stipe's career he needs to be more vocal, he needs to tell people what he wants, and he kind of waited until he had to do it to finally become that guy that people do want to see. They want him to be like that, and it's just happening now. And I think maybe part of the UFC could be thinking, bro, you should have done that a long time ago. Mm-hmm. People who do that get what they want, and he's just now figuring that out right now, and it might be too late.
Well, this is how the voting came in. It's pretty close. If you think about it, 2 of us said Stipe should be next. 1 said it should be Brock. So the 2-to-1 ratio is 66-33. 65% said Stipe should be next. 35% said Stipe should have to wait. 1,200 plus votes came in. Thanks, Junkie Nation, the readers of the site, and the listeners of the show for chiming in. All right, we got to take a break and reset the whole script here. So let's do that. And plus, we got James Vick coming up pretty soon as well. So let's pay some bills. It's MMA Junkie Radio on Fight Nation Channel 93. Stay close, and we'll be right back.
say things in this cool voice, and they get paid to be lame. Here are Gorgeous George and Goes.
Billy Joel will perform at 7 iconic baseball stadiums this year, including the first ever concert at Baltimore's Oriole Park at Camden Yards. SiriusXM wants to give you the chance to be a big shot and take a group of your friends to go see Billy from the front row at the concert of your choice, plus dinner at an Italian restaurant and a limo to the show. For official rules and to enter, go to SiriusXM.com/BillyJoelBaseball and do that before April 30th. No purchase is necessary to enter or win.
Does it really say an Italian restaurant?
Yeah.
I can't picture anybody winning something that cool and said, hey, that dinner better be at an Italian restaurant.
Yeah. I don't know.
Don't come at me with that barbecue.
Is Billy Joel just his performer name, and maybe he's like Billy Mazzagatti, or like is he Italian heritage or something?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how that ties in.
Yeah. All right. But they specified it, an Italian restaurant.
It's a piano man.
Yep. All right. So we are going to be talking to James Vick pretty soon, and you'll probably hear us go to break actually pretty soon as well. So why don't we do this? Why don't we do a quick round of the social media blast? Dan, what you got going on? Tell us about Protect Your Neck Podcast, all your social media, and where they can find you.
Boom. Best place to find me on Twitter, at DanTomMMA. Links to everything I work on from this show to, the Protect Your Neck Podcast, at the PYN Podcast. Going to have a breakdown episode this week. I promise this time. I left y'all hanging last week, but we're back for UFC 234, and that's pretty much all I got going. Plus, of course, the articles you can find at MMAjunkie.com.
And Dan Tom, Twitter and Instagram, there's a...
Instagram,
difference, right?
Dan_Tom_MMA.
There you go.
Sorry, you mentioned that. Yeah, I got to prompt that. I'm real bad at using Instagram, man. But the podcast, luckily, it's the same on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at the PYN Podcast.
All right, and I'm just pretty simple, at MMA Junkie George on Instagram and Twitter. Give me a follow. Follow you back. Goes?
I'm at The Goes, and Goes is spelled Goze.
Yep, Instagram and Twitter.
Yes.
All right. The show can be followed at MMA Junkie Radio, and the website can be followed at MMA Junkie. That's our Twitter handles. And we also have an Instagram. It's MMAjunkie.com, just like you heard it there. Mike Bond runs that one. So how about you guys over there back east? Josh and Gabby, plug your social media. Where can we give you guys follows?
Okay, fine. I'll plug my social media.
So I'm on Twitter. No.
Do you see how rude? Do you see what I have to deal with, by the way?
That wasn't rude. That was a gangsta move.
Yeah.
That was a gangsta move.
Yep.
I highly disagree.
Josh Friedman XSM on Twitter. I can't even. Gabby, I can't even speak.
Here we go. My Twitter is Gift of Gab SXM.
Okay.
Which you should follow because I'm hilarious. And my Instagram, just saying. Thank you. And my Instagram is Gablaspisa, GABLASPISA.
There you have
Follow it.
All right.
It's exciting.
Josh Friedman
now.
Yeah, Gabby has more followers than me on both platforms, but
Shocker.
But I am on Instagram now. This is a little bit different. At Friedman's_fitness. That's my personal training account.
Wait for the spelling.
Yeah. Friedman and fitness both start with PHs, so it's Friedman's with a PH _ fitness with a PH.
Wait.
What happened, Gab?
So that is you on Instagram.
Repeat it.
Yeah.
Repeat it.
Fix that.
That was
not
you?
PHIX, FIX. Fix it.
Should I?
Because that's how you spell words with an F.
No, it stands out though. Should I?
Can I tell you why that makes no sense?
Why did you do
His
that?
His last name is Friedman with an F.
Yeah.
Fitness is spelled with an F. Where is the PH coming from? You didn't put phone in there.
I
don't understand.
The only defense Josh would have is if he had more followers than her, but he doesn't, so he has no defense right now.
It's like the opposite of Filipinos, so it's not that.
PH followers.
Yeah, exactly. I have less followers.
PH followers.
No, it goes back to the college days. I had this friend who's somewhat out of his mind, and he spelled every word with an F with PHs, and it just stuck. So it stands out.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I have to do the Instagram account for our pictures for MMA Junkie. Well, by the way, follow our Instagram, MMA Junkie Radio. That thing's been blown up. We almost gained 1,000 followers within this last calendar year. Help us do that. And I'll go ahead and tag us when I post stuff. And I'm like, hey, Josh's part of the family now. Let me tag him in these photos. And I go to tag. I'm like, who's? I can't find it. I'm like, I find this guy Friedman's Fitness. I'm like, that can't be it. Friedman's Fitness sounds like a retired porn star. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have a fitness line now. Like that's what Friedman's Fitness with the PH sounds like.
Training, did you?
He doesn't.
He doesn't.
do.
That's what I was going
Oh, you
for.
do?
I'm so confused. Now I'm confused.
You don't know if you do
Yeah,
or not?
Are you confused with a pH
I do. Well,
or an
I
F?
do. No, with a pH. No, I'm a personal trainer on on the side.
I
man.
never knew that. Okay.
That's awesome, though. By the way,
Listen.
John, much respect for that on the real.
All right, let's go to break.
Listen,
Let's go to break and grab James Vick. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on SiriusXM, Fight Nation with an F, 93, and we'll be right back.
Bring 'em out. It's hard to yell when the barrel's in your mouth. Come on. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out. Hey. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out. Hey. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out.
Do what they say. Your life will be a lot better. Here are Gorgeous and Goes.
Two quick plugs here for the Twitter roundup that we were doing. Our guest, Toby Misech, he is at Toby2Quick135, and James Vick, our next guest, is at James Vick MMA. And when I get the green light, we'll talk to James Vick. But Goes, what was that you're showing me?
It just came out on MMAjunkie right now. You can go. It's Khabib Nurmagomedov. Nix's PSA says Nevada is where drugs, prostitution, and gambling are legal. He ain't trying to do it.
Oh, he's
oh my God!
His quote is, "Let them work on themselves."
He's invoking religion and morals. I'm sure that won't stir people, guys.
Boy,
here we
man.
go. Here we go. Oh no!
All right. Now, Paul Felder will be fighting James Vick. Vick was going to be our next guest here on Big ESPN. I'm really, really excited about that.
He's there.
The card is headlined by Francis Ngannou and Cain Velasquez. Vic joins us on the hotline. What's up, James? How you doing?
What's up, guys? How are y'all?
Good, man. Hey, you're getting the last workouts now. You're cutting the harder workouts sooner than other fighters we talk to. Other fighters are usually doing it like the Friday before the Tuesday they travel. But can I ask why? Is it because now you work on the weight cut, or I usually don't hear about harder workouts ending so early?
I'm not really cutting the harder workouts. That was just my last hard sparring. Like, I'm not going to do no hard full contact kickboxing.
Gotcha.
You know, because here's the thing: I used to do that all the time, and then probably 4 or 5 fights ago, I ended up getting injured. Literally the last sparring, not injured to the point that I couldn't fight, but injured to the point it made my weight cut really hard because I couldn't run the whole week because I hurt my ankle or I forgot what happened. It's been so long ago. It's been a couple years ago. But I give myself a full week and a half of no sparring because we used to spar up here Tuesdays and Fridays, and I was like, I'm good to go. Like it's too close, too much money on the line to risk, getting hurt on the last point. So I'll still do some grappling stuff.
I understand.
And I'll hit hard, bags hard, run hard, and do stuff like that. But now no more hard sparring.
Okay. How was this camp? This one was different because you hadn't lost in a while. You've been a guy of win streaks, 9 in a row, 4 in a row, and you've had one setback before, came back strong from that. But how was this one? Did you do any shifting, tweaking, coaches, camps, anything, any direction of your training, or is it still same as usual for you?
Well, I went to at the start of the camp. I went to Thailand for like 3 weeks, but I've did that before. This was my third trip to Thailand. It was really good, good experience. And then I came back and ended up delaying the fight, 3.5 weeks because of the card cancellation in California. But besides that, everything's still the same. Same coaches, same training, same teammates. And just obviously made adjustments from the last fight, but made it with my team. And I'm not one of those people that take a loss and try to blame my team and want to switch teams and shit. That's people with weak minds in my opinion. So I'm not gonna take a loss. And I didn't. My team didn't let me down. I let them down. That's how I feel.
I got you. Okay. James Vick, our guest here on MMA Junkie Radio. He'll be fighting Paul Felder at the upcoming UFC on ESPN 1 card, February 17th in Phoenix, Arizona. Goes. What do you have for James Vick?
James, I was thinking about you the other day because I was thinking about promotion. And it wasn't that long ago that you felt like maybe you weren't being pushed enough. And what I applaud you for was you took it upon yourself to get out there as much as you could, do your own interviews, book your own stuff. And I think it really helped. And I felt like the UFC was starting to react a little bit. Where are we at with that now? Do you feel like you're still getting like the proper push? Do you need more help on that end from the organization?
I mean, honestly, regardless of what's happened in the past, I don't feel like I've been promoted right and everything like that. But I got an opportunity and I fucking blew it. I was the opportunity to be a main event, and I killed the press conference. I felt like I did a great job. I was getting promoted big time because of that, and I got there and I didn't perform. I fucking blew it. And I can't really. I mean, I have no one to blame. I can't blame the UFC for me blowing it. And if I have beat Justin Gaethje the way he beat me and I knocked him out like that, then I'd probably be an overnight superstar for sure. But that's not what happened. I blew my opportunity. So honestly, the only thing I can do is, to me at this point, I feel like I put my dues in, but also I'm just fortunate enough to be on this big of a stage as co-main event of this first main card on ESPN. I definitely think I've earned this right, but I also feel like I'm blessed to get it because I blew such a big opportunity last fight. So as far as social media and stuff like that, I've did a better job of trying to promote myself and put better quality content out, and I'm also growing my name pretty big in the hunting and outdoor industry as well, because I do a lot of hunting. And someone tried to tell me to get Instagram several years ago, and I wish I would have, because now I would have way more followers than what I have, because that's the big one. For as far as I think a lot of companies and promotions and stuff like that, I think Instagram is the big one nowadays. And I waited until a couple of years ago to even get one, but my name's starting to get bigger through that industry, so, and obviously the fighting as well. So it's growing, I'm trying to grow my brand and my name as best I can.
James, in regards to Paul Felder, we love both you guys, and a lot of people that watch the sport, you guys are like fan favorites. When it comes to your opponent, where do you lie as far as some fighters say, I have to hate the guy I'm going to fight, and others say, whenever it's like a chill person like that, it really doesn't affect them that much. What's your mindset when it comes to your opponents?
See, I've never really hated anybody. Even like, I don't really have beef with my opponents except last fight. I obviously had to talk a lot of shit just to even be able to get that fight. And I wasn't even the first person that got that fight. I only got it because L.A. Quinta pulled out, the day before promotions. So, I don't really, I don't have a problem with Paul Felder. He's always been nothing but cool and respectful. Every time I've seen him, we've talked, we've shaken hands, we've been cool with each other. And, I mean, to me, it's this is a sport. I don't hate the guy. I know he doesn't hate me, and I don't need all that. My goal is to be a winner. So I don't really need to be pissed at someone or something like that. If I have to talk shit to promote the fight, then I will. But I haven't had to do this, and it's not like this is a main event squad or anything like that. So I don't have to do extra shit to promote this fight, and plus, with our styles, me and his style, we're both going to come out there, and it's going to be an exciting fight. That's the way we both fight.
Dan, Tom, what do you have for James Vick?
Hey, James, I always like listening to you break down stuff, Vick's picks, if you will, and maybe you can, help us sort something out. We were kind of talking about the top of the division, obviously. For better or worse, you'll have to be really familiar with rankings for your job, obviously. But we're trying to pick and choose how it kind of sorts out. And I think most of us are pretty much in agreement that Tony Ferguson is the most deserving guy in the division, and that's who Khabib should fight next. And a lot of people are throwing out there, for Conor, Cowboy may be the thing that's around the corner for that. Do you have any strong opinions for the top of the division by chance on how that should shake out?
I mean, I agree with both those assessments. I think that Tony Ferguson definitely deserves a title fight. The dude's won like 12 or 13 fights in a row. He 100% deserves one. Now, if GSP comes down, that doesn't mean Tony Ferguson didn't win. Obviously they're going to go with who they think the bigger draw is, and GSP is a huge draw. So I don't know what they do there. Maybe they give Tony Ferguson, if GSP fights Khabib, maybe they give Tony Ferguson Dustin Poirier or Nate Diaz. I don't know. And then Cerrone and McGregor is a good fight. I think that a lot of fans would love to watch that fight, and I think Cerrone deserves that. He's put in so many years, and he's did so much for the company and for our sport. He deserves a big payday like that. So, I mean, I think those are both realistic matchups. I definitely think Ferguson deserves a title fight, but I don't know if he's necessarily going to get one next.
Real quick, James, who wins both those matchups?
Which ones?
Conor versus Cerrone, and who wins between Khabib Tony?
I think Khabib beats Tony. I think he beats him for sure. I think he's too strong on the ground, and I think he just neutralizes any of Tony's submission game. And I also think McGregor beats Cerrone stylistically, unless Cerrone can get him down. I think that Cerrone, he takes some shots and he stands kind of straight up and down with, without moving his head or his, feet. He's just, he absorbs some stuff. I mean, obviously Cerrone's kicks are very good. His ground game is very good. He's got power, but I think McGregor's boxing skill set is better, and he's a southpaw. And I think McGregor wins that fight also.
James, one last question. We got 1 minute, so you have to give me a quick answer.
2 minutes.
Yes, sir.
2 minutes. When you hear a fighter go, man, the best thing I ever done was go up, like an Anthony Smith or something, how long does it reside with you, or like you have to question, why do I keep going down to 155 versus just going to 170?
I think a lot, to be honest with you, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but a lot of these guys, you've seen Cerrone move up and now he's back down. You've seen Yancy Lewis move up and now he's back down. These guys are realizing that moving up, they want that when you take a couple losses, like some of these guys have 500 records at one weight class, and they move up and they roll off a couple wins, and they're like, oh, they want to blame the weight. But then when they get to the top of that division too, they realize, hey, maybe it wasn't the fucking weight. Maybe I just run into a stylistic problem with this matchup or whatever the case may be. But I mean, you're seeing a lot of guys. You see a lot of guys move up and they win a couple fights, but you also see guys moving up and they realize they're not quite big enough to contend in the next division. Now, Anthony Smith is a rare exception, but I mean, stylistically, You know, and I like Anthony Smith, but stylistically, you know, he lost Thiago Santos. Does he win that fight if they rematch now? I don't know if he would. You know, I think Santos would probably still be a favorite to win the fight.
All right, brother. Well, listen, thanks for squeezing us in. Always great to talk to you. I hope the rest of the camp goes well, and good luck on February 17th. Thanks again, James Vick, for the time.
Thank you, guys. Tune in February 17th. It's not a game. Run up, get done up.
For sure, man. Vick versus Felder. I can't wait for that one. And, folks, that's our show for today. Thank you again to James Vick for his time. Thank you to Toby Misech, for his time. And we'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow our co-host will be former Bellator featherweight champion Daniel Strauss. Might have a couple other guests up our sleeve as well. We'll announce them when we announce the guest list. So, for Gabby and Josh, Goes and Dan, I'm George. Have a nice day. Have a nice night. And go out there and be a champion.